All right, Big Man, today is Wednesday. It is February 2nd. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented by Barstool Sports. I'm here in New York City, HQ Barstool, and I'm joined by who Dave Portnoy said is one of our nicest employees. It's the Indiana lady, Jordan Berry. Jordan, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
This is like so overdue, by the way.
So incredibly overdue.
Like, I think we've talked about it like numerous times, but like it just never happened.
And you were just ghosting me.
I know.
I've always been here just waiting for the call.
I know. Because you are like, you're like the perfect Dog Walk guest. Like what this show started of in 2019. It's perfect. Like you were, so we'll get into it, but you were a Disney character. and like, that's so unique and funny and interesting. So
yeah.
I don't know why it didn't happen sooner, but I'm happy it's finally happening. We're making it happen in 2022.
Same.
Yeah, and it's also Groundhog Day, so happy Groundhog Day.
Oh my goodness.
Are you a big Puxatawny Phil girl?
Yeah, I am honored to be on this.
That's,
episode. It's the Seeing the Shadow, right?
Yes. Yeah. You not.
So what do you think? Well, I guess by
He
the time
always
this comes
sees
out,
his
we'll
fucking
know.
shadow. Yeah, I know. We're not recording on the second, but he always sees his shadow.
Spoiler alert.
I know. It's always disappointing. But actually, the advertisers today, Jordan, is going to be interesting to you.
Oh.
Because, so a little background with Jordan here before we were walking in. You were watching a video of your dog.
Yes.
Yes. So I've got this new advertiser called Fuzzy. Have you heard of Fuzzy yet?
No, please tell me all about it.
You're gonna love this. Like seriously, okay? So Fuzzy is a telehealth service for pet parents that offers 24/7 access to personalized pet care for veterinarian professionals. Sorry. So like, if you're ever like scared, if the dog's like dry heaving or something at 2 a.m.
Oh, once a week.
Yes. See, I knew that because I knew.
I am that type of. I have a camera. So prior to this recording, I was on my dog camera watching my dog. I'm that person. So continue because this is my thing.
I knew that. So from everyday questions to middle of the night emergencies, Fuzzy has the answers pet parents need through live chat and virtual vet consultation available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Fuzzy can answer your pet questions, big and small, urgent, and every day. Fuzzy can also recommend the exact right products for your pet, all of which are handpicked by their established team of veterinarian professionals and available at discounts exclusive to Fuzzy members. From getting your pet's diet just right, to meeting their middle-of-the-night needs, to finally figuring out what makes their breath smell that way, nothing is too big or small for a quick Fuzzy call. You like that, too.
Yes.
You're a big, nice little rhyming catchphrase. I know that, JB. I know that. So right now, Fuzzy is offering our listeners a free 7-day trial membership. Go to yourfuzzy.com/dog today to sign up. That's a free 7-day trial at yourfuzzy.com/dog. And for a limited time, Fuzzy is also offering a special discount of $20 off any of your pet's products needs. That's pet meds, supplements, food, and more with promo code DOG. That's yourfuzzy.com/dog for your free trial of Fuzzy with access to 24/7 personalized pet care and vet recommended products. Go check out Fuzzy. If you're a dog person, it's a no-brainer.
I'm gonna check it out.
You should. You can't be panicking anymore. So yeah, but you did like a variety of things, right? Like I know you did Sean's show for a while on Sirius.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like an OG Heartland person, I was on Barstool Heartland back when McAfee started. I worked over there doing the radio show and podcasting, and then when that ended, I came over here, tried to find my way, and now I'm on the talent booking team. I love it.
You like it? So you found your way?
Yeah, I love being behind the scenes. I mean, I do miss radio. That was my favorite thing to do, especially morning radio, which you guys had morning airtime.
Mm-hmm.
The idea of someone starting their day with me or me being a part of someone's routine to like set it off on a positive start, I thought was so cool. I miss radio a ton, but I do love my job now, and I've always loved being in that producer role, and I still get to do that with guests. So, for example, last week I was pitching you some guests who I thought could be great on some Chicago shows, and that's where I really find a lot of satisfaction now.
Now, are you, that you liked so much the content aspect, are you judgy when you hear people's interviews if they're not good? Be honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
But no, that's part of my job,
yes.
you know?
No, totally.
So yeah, I'm judgy, but I don't know if I'd ever speak to that judgment out loud.
Yeah. Like, yeah, okay.
Everyone's judgmental in some way.
Correct. That's a fact.
Yeah.
And so you were how old when you started with McAfee?
Oh, geez. Okay, I was a senior in college, so like 22, 23.
Oh, damn. Okay, so you were like...
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm 27 now. So I've actually been with Barstool for
a long time.
A long time, but I was in Indianapolis, and, you know, I've always been more low-key about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been here for a minute.
Yeah,
not a cup of... I don't think that's a cup of coffee,
it's
right?
It's not a cup of coffee. That was exactly what I was going to say.
What would you call it? Like a latte?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know Starbucks sizes at all. Like
I don't even like coffee.
You don't like coffee at all?
I've been here for a McDonald's Coke.
Yes, I know you're
not
a
can
Coke,
of
right?
Coke.
McDonald's Coke.
But like a full, large McDonald's Coke.
It hits different, right?
Absolutely.
It does. No, I agree. I agree. But before you did that, okay, so you worked at Disney.
Yeah, so it was the spring of 2015, which I think it was my sophomore year of college. I had figured out that I was set to graduate early, and I didn't want to. The idea of like becoming an adult was really terrifying to me. And so I started looking at things I could do, and I was like, instead of doing a winter semester, like a second semester for my sophomore year, I'm just going to go work at Disney. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what I did. They have something called the Disney College Program. And at my school, which I went to a very small Christian school in Indiana.
Indiana Wesleyan?
Yeah, I'm wearing the sweater today.
Look at that. That's
not because I'm like proud of the school, but I think this is a really cool sweater.
It is a nice sweater.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Nobody at my university had done it before. Typically, Disney, they at bigger universities like IU or even a Ball State, they have like a representative set up. So I just kind of had to figure it all out. But I knew I wanted to be a character performer, and for that you had to audition. So I had to apply, and then I drove to, I think it was Chicago. Yeah, I drove to Chicago.
Oh, really?
To audition. Yeah, it's a dance audition.
Dance.
And I was a show choir kid, so this was like nothing to me.
Really? Okay, so you're thinking to be a character, but you don't know what character, or you do know a character?
You don't know what character. So you don't know anything going into the audition. They just need to see that you are able to move and be animated. And I didn't even think I made it to the final round. Like, it's very like cutthroat, and it's kind of like what you would see in a movie if you've ever seen like someone, you know, go to a big time audition. 'Cause you've got like your headshot. They teach you a couple dance routines, and then you stand in front of the panelists, and they're like, all right, have a good day. So I think I found out a month after that I had made it. So I had to like both get into the program and then get the audition.
So what did the audition entail?
It was a couple dance routines that they teach you in like 5 minutes, and then, believe it or not, charades.
Wow.
Because the costumes are so bulky that you have to be extremely animated with your movement.
Oh.
So, for example, I remember when it was like, make me a giant sandwich, and you have to, which, if you're listening, this doesn't really help you, but I mean full extension of arms, like using your entire space, showing them how you made a giant sandwich.
Oh, so you're like Uncle Buck turning the pancake with a shovel.
Exactly.
I got you. So you just had to make it just as large as you can.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense, but that's a super like unique way to interview, right?
I guess had I not auditioned, my role would have been, because when you apply, you get to pick your top 3 roles. My role would have been a character attendant, so that's just the person that's like the voice representative for the character, facilitating meet and greets.
Like the chaperone kind of thing?
Which would have been a cool gig as well, but I got my audition, so.
So, and what's interesting too is obviously I know people have you've talked about this on radio and stuff before, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So I had a friend who did the internship.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm kind of a little versed on how it works.
What was his role?
He was a custodian.
Okay, one of my roommates was a custodian.
Oh, really?
Custodian and merch worker, which they had like much tougher jobs than I did. I'm not gonna lie, being a character performer is pretty. It's a good life.
It's like
sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I was in a costume today.
That's very funny, and so yeah, he. I mean, I think he liked it. He just loved Disney. So, like, you know, that's kind of one of those things where he just liked that whole...
Which I will say, in recent years, there has been some slander on Disney adults.
Yeah.
And I get it, but I want to say that there are also just, like, normal adults who enjoy Disney who are not complete weirdos about it.
Yeah, they're not getting every princess tattooed on, like, their back.
Yeah, I'm, like, wearing it every day. Like, I'm definitely not there.
Yeah,
But I will say I have, like, a special love for the company because... my small college was in my small hometown. So it was the first time I had ever like ventured out on my own and had to make friends on my own and live away from family. So for me, it's more of a special time in my life, you know?
And for like, and obviously get into it, but like for people that don't know, it's like very much a college, like university, like kind of deal because there's so many people there.
So the school I went to, Indiana Wesleyan, very strict rules. When I started there my freshman year, like girls couldn't wear leggings as pants. No R-rated movies were allowed in the dorm room. Even when you turn 21, no alcohol consumption.
Really?
No swearing, like no dancing, which like felt, Sean Latham always called it Footloose University because I'm a very big dancer. So it's funny I went to the school that didn't allow dancing outside of religious functions. But yeah, it was quite the culture shock going from that to Disney, which it was like a crazy college campus.
Yeah, and like they would tell me that like the Buffalo Wild Wings turned into like a club at night.
Absolutely. And then my favorite thing, because there's the college program and then there's the international program, which is the same thing, just international students coming in. So we had something called Happy Mondays, and it would rotate at bars, but all the different countries would get together. It was like the Olympics. It was like a beer Olympics, essentially. And for me, someone who like did not have their first alcoholic beverage till 21, and I was 20 at the time, like I thought it was just cool to be around alcohol.
Wow.
I was a big loser.
No,
but an endearing one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is where, so it's safe to say, like, this is where JB After Dark started.
Kind of, yeah.
Yes.
Like, I would say so.
Yeah, well, that's...
The origins.
That's honestly a great experience that you had that too, like, because you didn't get, like, the... Like,
no, I didn't have your traditional college experience. I also say, like, my time with McAfee. That was really when I was like, oh, like, people go out every weekend or on, like, a Thursday.
Yeah.
I still call weeknights school nights. I mean, I've got a lot to improve on, and I'm 27, so.
No, yeah, but I feel like you're moving in the right direction.
Thanks, Eddie.
I would say so. At least I didn't know, like, you were kind of sheltered. Well, would you say sheltered? Is that the right word?
Yeah, and I think people, they often think my parents were, like, super religious. I think it was the opposite. My parents were so crazy as kids that they didn't want me to be the same way. And in turn, like, I just became,
Yeah.
I just became what I am. So I don't know if I was necessarily sheltered, but small town, small school, small college. I just wasn't in an environment where I could kind of explore that, if that makes sense.
No, definitely. No, that makes sense for sure.
But I was cool. I don't want to put out the vibe that I was like a weirdo. I was very normal. I went to a public high school, like.
But you're normal now. Like, so
True.
If you,
Maybe.
No, but like you are. Like like if you don't just grow totally out of that, you know?
Yeah. And maybe
at least I don't think
it's
so.
like a quirky charm now.
Yeah,
like
I would totally say it is.
Zooey Deschanel from New Girls, you know?
Yeah, I don't watch New Girl, but
what?
I know. And we had Nick Miller on the show, but he's a cool dude. Everyone has that same reaction. I guess I got to watch New Girl.
You do.
But back to the audition. So you did it, and did you think you got it right after?
No, I didn't think I got it because they took pictures of a couple of people, and I wasn't one of those. So I was like, I'm done. Like, I'll just go be a character attendant, da-da-da-da-da. But then, like a month later, I was told that I got it, and then I moved to Orlando. That was like November-ish, and I moved to Orlando in January.
Okay, so you moved there in January.
Yeah.
And what are you thinking you're going to be? Like, what did you envision that character that you were going to put on?
Okay, so at this point in time, like in 2015, there's like a small YouTube community festering of people who've done it. So I'm trying to like figure out what I could be. But at that time, like, people were also scared to talk about it because they don't want to lose their jobs because Disney's very big on preserving the magic, aka don't talk about it. Like, I'm totally cool to talk about it because I know I'm never going to work there again. And like, I don't really care anymore, if that makes sense. But they take you to casting, and I got a piece of paper and it just said Chipmunk on it, and I was not happy. Cause I don't know what I thought I wanted to be, but just seeing like my name and then Chipmunk was like not the best welcome. I was already nervous, and then at casting, I changed into this like leotard that had sensors on it because they do like a full body scan to make sure that you fit the costume.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's very particular, but they still don't really tell you what exactly everything is until you get to like day one of training.
Damn.
Yeah, it's intense.
That is crazy.
Like, fun fact, my shoulders were not broad enough to support the head of Winnie the Pooh. So even though I was in that height range, I couldn't do that costume because the head would kind of flop all over the place. And that's all stuff they can tell from the body scan.
See, that's a very good fun fact. Like
You're
that's
welcome.
That's exactly the stuff.
That's why I'm here.
That's what I'm looking for, JB. So, all right. So you see Chipmunk, and you're disappointed. What was like after you do the leotard? Then when did you find out that hey, here's what you are?
2 days later, because you do like your basic Disney orientation where they walk you through the park and show you the bells and whistles, and then everyone breaks off and does their individual stuff. And the first thing that they do is tell you, you know, who your main person is. So the way Disney breaks it down, there's legacy characters. And also, like, if you're some like Disney adult listening to this and you come for me for like slightly being inaccurate, I mean, that was 2015, it's 2021. Cut me some slack. 2022. See, not off to a hot start. No, but anyway, so the legacy characters, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Chip and Dale, shout out my boys, Goofy, Pluto. So I'm 5'3", that put me in chipmunk height. And because 5'3" would also be King Louie from the Jungle Book, the penguins from Mary Poppins, Winnie the Pooh, who I couldn't do. And there's probably some newer characters since I've worked there. The same people who fit the height requirement for Goofy, which is your tallest. They're also your Woodies from Toy Story. What else? Who else is a tall character? Frozone from Incredible. Like, any tall character falls into that. And then your Mickey and Minnie, which, another fun fact, I mean, Mickey Mouse is almost always a female.
Really?
Because there are so few men who are that short who would also
be able to do
who would also want to do that, I guess, if that makes sense.
To be honest with you, I'm not I kind of figured most of the characters were female, right? Because
I would say,
isn't height like the biggest thing?
Yeah. So I would say males don't really get involved until like Pluto, Goofy range.
Oh, okay.
And everything else, but I mean, I rarely had a male partner for Chip and Dale. It was mostly all females. And then I can only think of 2 Mickeys in my mind right now that I ever worked with. Male Mickeys.
And everybody who was a character was an intern?
No. So I worked with like a lot of like adults who had just so some people did start out as interns and then they just get sucked in and go for full time and never leave. And then like I worked with people who had been with the company for like 30 something years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because that surprises me that they would make Mickey an intern. Like, I feel like that's someone
who's you like, think it would be? Well,
that's what I figured, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the Mickey who does the castle show, that's never gonna be intern Mickey, but Mickey at a restaurant in Epcot, that's an intern.
Yeah,
that's an intern Mickey. But not always, but they're not gonna put the young kids on the most prestigious of Disney stages.
You can't do that.
No.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Because he's the man.
Yeah, you can't just be having a hungover Mickey Mouse, right?
Exactly.
Damn. So was the person, you know, the female who was Mickey, was she like a little bit more like pep in her step? Was she a little more popular? How does that work? Is there like a hierarchy with like even these fake characters?
There's definitely hierarchies with face characters, which interns very rarely became. So faces, your princesses and your princes. Interns are very rarely face characters unless they look very, very much like the character who they've been cast to portray. Like, example for me, I was never a face character, but because of my dance score, I got to dance in parades. And that like just as like a generic whatever dancer based on what park I was in. But when I was there, like Elsa, like Frozen, had really just popped off. So all the Elsas were very snooty.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there was a lot of competition to be like the lead parade Elsa, to the point where there would be rumors of like Elsa's tearing up other dresses, like some sabotage. Yeah.
Wow, Elsa.
Cattiness in the princess community.
Wow, I mean, I believe it. It's come on. And was that like the people like what do you think is better, to be a face character though? Because like I would think like the advantages are Obviously, you don't have to sweat in a costume.
Totally. I mean,
but you got to smile all day. That sucks.
Here's the thing. In 2022, I got it right this time. In the world of like instant gratification and flexing on social media, obviously being a princess would be the cool thing to do.
That's a good point.
Now, I will say Disney has a code. So you could never say I was Snow White, which was the only princess I was technically like categorized to be in, because I had a round face, but there is a surplus of Snow Whites.
They got face dimensions?
Yeah. Like I have a rounder face, and Snow White's the only princess who has that. So if you had a more angular face, you could fit in for Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Belle. There's more to hit.
Wow.
Yes. And so say I was Snow White one day and I wanted to post it on my Instagram, I would have to use the term hanging out with my friend Snow White. You could never say, like, here I am as Snow White. Like, you are with your friend, hanging out with your friend. Very specific language. And if they would ever catch you on social media, like, you would get a write-up, essentially. So many write-ups, you're done.
Yeah, because that's like their thing, right? Because I've always been
preserving the magic.
Yeah, and I've always
been people like me go rogue on a Barstool.
You just go crazy.
Podcast.
Look at that. They thought you like, oh, we got this girl. She goes to like a very strict college. She's fine. She'll never spill the secrets. Here she is on the dog walk. But I don't know. I just figured it was different, I guess. No. What about the like, isn't there like underground tunnels and shit? Was that like a big thing?
So when I talk about like loving Disney, I don't love it for the sense of like, the movies, but like the infrastructure, because the park is celebrating its 50th. Disneyland just celebrated its 60th last year. Disney World is celebrating its 50th this year. The way they built the park is there's an underground tunnel system so everyone can get places quicker, but then they also have these ginormous trash chutes where they take the recycled trash and like turn it into fuel that they use to run certain parts of the park. Like, it's very fascinating
to see how the sausage is made.
How it was all built, absolutely. And so I was anytime I worked in Magic Kingdom, I was in the tunnels.
Oh yeah, is that your favorite one, Magic Kingdom?
My favorite one to work or just to hang out at?
Do both. Say both.
Okay.
What was the which park was good to work at?
So I mean, working at Magic Kingdom, it's like the staple, the head whatever. So that was nice, but my favorite spot to work at, there are two. There's Garden Grill, which is a restaurant in Epcot, because restaurants you can spend a little more time with the kids. And I was mostly Chip and Dale, which when you go back to like character and integrity and preserving the magic, they're very like mischievous and they like to play around. So for example, like if I saw like two parents were fighting at dinner, I would take the kid and go sit at another table and like play crossword puzzles and just like hang out for a second. And then it becomes like a really awesome moment for the kid. The parents stop talking. They're like, oh, my child's getting special attention. And like I just solved a small conflict that they probably thought about. Like,
did they tell you to do that though?
Yeah, like you can do. I mean, I didn't take the kid out of their line of sight. But no, like you're very playful, so that's something that's like in my character range. Mickey Mouse, for example, would never go take a child because he's too proper. He's like head of household. Like he would never do something like that.
But they tell you like look for couples who are like arguing, like or was
they
that just
they teach you to like make the most of a moment and how to like de-escalate situations. But I mean, if you're at Disney for a long day, you're almost always gonna like argue with your spouse at dinner. Like it's the prime time.
Yeah, sweating.
So I really liked that location, and then there was a meet and greet location in Animal Kingdom. That was right next to the animal hospital because Disney had an animal hospital. And so on the break times, you could go see like the different animals that they were helping that day.
Oh,
which was so fun.
Yeah, that's
so
nice.
Those were and that one was in the shade.
Oh,
yeah.
How crucial is the shade? So when the heat index hits 90 degrees, it becomes like about 120 in the costume. And in the costume, you're wearing they're very particular about their basics. Like everyone, you have to scan yours in, scan them out, same brand. It's a Hanes cotton t-shirt and Hanes cotton shorts. So say when the heat index hits 90, say my shift was 6 hours, that means I'm greeting people 6 times. But when the heat index hits 90, you can only be in the costume for 20 minutes. And maybe the rules have changed, but this is my experience in 2015. Yeah. So for 20 minutes, I would be in the costume.
And then that's 20 minutes from when you leave the break room to when you come back. Like, they time it. They're very strict. 20 minutes of greeting and then a 40-minute cool down where I'm just like sitting in a break room, like scrolling on my phone.
It's not bad.
That's what I'm so when I say like I had the best job out of all my friends, like they have to work in that heat.
Yeah.
You know, doing whatever. And meanwhile, I'm in a break room for hours upon end. Like, and you're still getting paid that full time.
That's the life right there.
It was the life. So it actually, my body, I got acclimated to being really hot, like being in the heat, and now I'm cold all the time.
Really?
Like, I would love, like, it's so cold in New York right now. I'd love to get in a chip costume, just snuggle up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like full body.
No weighted blanket for Jordan. She just needs
I just need my Disney costume back.
Now, was it that fucking hot though? Like, was it like?
No, I mean, I was definitely like sweating profusely, and you change after each like meet and greet session, like you change out those basics into fresh ones, like to cool your body down. I never like got to the point where I was gonna pass out, but it absolutely happens. Characters pass out like quite often, and there's a whole protocol for it.
Oh, really? Like, were you like, oh, Pluto's down, Pluto's down?
If you feel disoriented, because when you ask me, you know, face or fur, that's how they say it better, I would always say fur, because if your face, like, you have to perform all the time, you have to smile. If you're fur, like, there's no pressure, you're just moving your body. So if you can't see, like, if you're in distress, essentially, the universal sign is one hand over the eye and then the other hand just like up in the air, and then your character attendant will escort you out. That only happened to me once because embarrassingly my sweatband like fell over my eye, and I have a lazy eye, and so it just happened to be like over my one good eye, and so he had to drag me off. But no, if a character passes out, they take the black like costume bags and essentially like border the area until emergency personnel can like assess and make sure they're okay. Because you still don't want like the children to see someone like without their head on.
No, yeah, you can't. You can't do that.
If we have time, I will share with you though like my craziest Disney story.
Oh, we got time. I do.
Unless you want to lead other places, but this is like.
No. Let's get into it, because it's fascinating too, because. And I should have guessed it was like this, because they're like, I've always heard they're just so protective. Like, it bothers me, Jordan, that like Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and all these people. I mean, it doesn't really bother me. I don't give a fuck. But,
no, be honest.
like,
you are a Disney adult. You are bothered.
No, but at the same time, like those are legendary characters, like you said, and they don't do anything with them anymore. Like, why don't they try to make Mickey movies? I don't think
that's true. Oh, as far as animation,
yes.
Yeah. Like I mean. I think when we were texting about the Goofy movie.
Yeah.
How old were we when that came out? Well, we were different ages, but
yeah. I'm 31, so I mean,
I feel like I definitely saw that in elementary and I enjoyed it, and I feel like right now all the animation programming with the quote unquote legacy characters are all geared towards like kindergarten, for like very, very young. Which, I mean, I get it, but I will say if you go to the Disney parks, like Mickey runs it. Mickey runs the parks, like.
But like, I don't understand how he does anything for these kids at this point. Like, I know that he's got the Hot Diggity Dog show. You know, right?
The Clubhouse is very popular amongst the youngins.
I know. Believe me, I fucking played the song on Google Home many times with my nephews and nieces. But like, I'm saying like, there's no like, Donald Duck is a great character. He could put some asses in the seats.
Donald Duck is one of my favorite characters.
Yes, he could put some ass in the seats, and it's like, I don't even know what that guy's up to.
Well, I think we're going to go to Disney so I can introduce you guys.
But I just don't. But it's just going to be a duck who's going to like wave me around, and like.
But.
There's not going to be any like, oh, Donald saves Christmas, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's when like, for example, at Magic Kingdom, they do the castle shows and the programming seasonal. So there's a Christmas show, Halloween show. Right now there's a 50th anniversary show. And there's always like storylines. And those characters do talk.
Okay.
Like, I'm going to get this kind of wrong, but one hand when you operate the fingers, kind of like how Spider-Man does the web thing, that operates the mouth and the other operates the eyes. And so these performers are like dancing at the same time that they're like talking. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So those are
it's
probably
like dummy kind of thing.
Kind of, but they're in the costume. And so those are where like I would say the characters mostly come to life now is like during those shows at the park.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. But all right, yeah, back to what you were saying. So you want like the worst day there, or what were you going to say?
Oh my goodness,
your
this
best
is
Disney story?
So I told this once on, I think Large did like a random interview, but I don't know if it really lives anywhere, so now it's going to live on here.
Let's go.
Forever. Okay, so if you have been to Disney World, if you've been to Magic Kingdom, they did something called the Welcome Show. And it's for the early risers. Do you know where I'm going with this?
Yes, I've heard rumors about this, so I'm excited for it.
It's the early risers who come to the park when it opens, and a train comes in, a real like steam engine train comes to the front of the park, and Mickey, like the main characters, we all greet you. So my family was in town. I got assigned to do the welcome show, and I'm like very nervous but very excited because it's like it's probably the most like prestigious shift that you can get as an intern, right? And my partner that day, I was Chip, she was Dale, and my partner was like a girl who I had trained with, and I was like, this is awesome, I'm super comfortable. The person who was Princess Tiana was like a close friend of mine at the park, so I was like, okay, this is gonna be great. You have to show up like at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like waiting for training, like I thought it was gonna be something serious, and I get nothing. The captain's just like, all right, you meet by Space Mountain, Sorry, my phone.
It's all right. Only the 5th time, Jordan.
Sorry, guys. Okay. They're like, you meet at Space Mountain, you get on the train. When you hear the horn, you stand up, grab the top with your hand, and then you hold on. And then you just greet the people in front. Like that. We truly got zero direction. And I was like, okay. And it had been raining the night before. So I get on the train. I'm like, okay, to help the audience better understand, take your 2 hands and put them like side by side, right? Mm-hmm. Like this. Put them right in front of your face. That's your vision when you're in the chipmunk suit. So you can only see from side to side.
Oh, like peripheral vision?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I have trouble saying that word, so I was waiting for you to jump in and say it for me. But that's your vision. So that if you ever see a character super animated, like moving their head around all the time, it's because we can't see it. We're just trying to like get our bearings straight. So that's your line of vision. And so I hear the horn, I stand up, and it's like an open train, right? I step up, I grab the top railing, the train takes off, and I fall off, Eddie. And not just like a trip, I fall down the hill of Space Mountain to where the buses are pulling up, dropping people off. I hear the Princess Tiana scream, like they thought I got ran over by a real steam engine train. I hear the show starting. I like immediately start sobbing, not because I'm injured, but because I'm like, oh God, like Disney's gonna fire me. I don't think this has ever happened before. My parents got up early to come see this, and now they're gonna wonder. And then my friend, my Dale, like she's without her chip, like what happens?
What about Dale?
Because they're never spotted. That's another like preserving the magic thing. They're never separate from each other. So I'm just like really screwing things up. And so I see the people getting off the bus, and I'm like, oh, Jordan, if you want to save your job, like, you need to think quickly. So I start foresting in the bushes, like Chip would, getting food, like eating my breakfast. Like, and they're, like, getting their phones out and taking photos, and like, oh, magic moment. And I was not able to, like, leave until another train came in and got me. So I was there by myself for, like, 15 minutes. It was EMS. They come and get me. They get me on the train, and they're asking me if I'm okay. And I can talk where nobody's hearing me. You know what I mean? Because you're not allowed to talk in the costume. And they're like, okay. So they have to escort me, and I'm like still trying to act normal. And long story short, like Disney had to launch a full investigation that day. Like I continued to work that day because I wanted my parents to meet me in my spot at Magic Kingdom. But I had to sign. I wonder if I signed something where I can't talk about. I don't think so. I think I would have noticed that. But I had to sign stuff saying that like I wasn't injured. Witnesses, I had to get witness signatures. Like I probably honestly could have maybe sued them for money if I wasn't so naive and scared due to lack of training. But after the full investigation, they found that the captain, who's like the person running the show, did not train me. The train took off at too fast of a speed. And a year later, they ended the entire show due to safety reasons. And it was all started because of the investigation.
Oh, no. Now, did you hear anything else, though? Like, did Dale take a digger, like, a year later? And that's
No, they started implementing, like, mandatory safety training prior. And so all the vets who were in there were, like, super annoyed that some chip, like fell off the train.
Damn.
And let me tell you, like, I'm very sensitive and I got bullied, like,
really
bad. And most of the time people didn't know it was me, but I'd be in a van on my way to a shift and they'd be like, did you hear about that Chip? I heard she broke her arm and got fired. Like, it was insane. It was a dark time, but now I just get to laugh about it. And people like still talk about it to this day. Because I still have Facebook friends with people. And someone I didn't know commented on an old employee's post, like, whatever happened to the chip that fell. So then when I went on YouTube to like show my friend, and people were like in the comments talking about the chip who fell off the train. I still get texts. Like, I'm very much in the Disney employee.
You're in the Disney lore.
Yeah.
So,
but that's my crazy story. I ended a whole show. Like, I'm so sorry to all the families. I don't take pride in it. I do take pride in like mandating safety regulations because I actually like could have died. Not to be dramatic, but Google the Main Street, like Disney Magic Kingdom Main Street steam engine train, and that's what I was on, and it's like all open, like there's no doors or anything.
Yeah.
So had I just like fallen a different way, like it would have ran over my leg. Like, you can't stop it.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, Disney. That's what I'm trying to say.
So like essentially, like it just took off and you weren't braced, and like you're.
Yeah,
like,
they found it took off at too fast of a speed.
And your grip wasn't ready.
And my grip wasn't ready. It was wet. Okay. So I slipped. Like, it was a whole thing. And then after my incident, like, they started hiring more character attendants to better escort the characters on the train. Like, okay. Again, you're welcome. I mean, it's canceled now, but
yeah. Listen, you're right though, because the safety's a big priority, and I'm sure they had you sign a bunch of shit. Because this is another thing too. I'm a freak, and I am those Wikipedias of incidents at like there and Six Flags.
I've been there too, my friend. I was probably almost in one, but I also look at those all the time.
Crazy, Jordan.
I think isn't there a document? Or no, there's a YouTube channel actually about that. I'll send it to you later.
Is that what, the Funkland or something?
Yep, because someone just told me about it last week.
Really? Yeah. No, that's what, like, I'm always like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened, you know? So
yeah, but that's my craziest Disney story, is ending like a 20-something year tradition for families across America.
That's sad, and we're like what did Dale say?
So they pulled, again, Chip and Dale cannot be separated. Mm-hmm. So they pulled my Dale off immediately. She didn't even get to perform in the show. And what's crazy is that they kept giving me that shift after, and I would just trade it. I would just give it away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just no part of it.
That's tough. That's sorry to the families who are probably upset. You think there are going to be any hate comments? Like,
no, there were. Yeah. Now after this comes out, I mean, I hope not, guys. I was 20 years old, and I was very remorseful, and I cried like every day after. The only reason I'm like laughing about it now is because a little something called growth. Maybe you guys should get some as well. Like, I truly am sorry, but it was a big safety hazard, and I exposed it.
Yeah, no, you're right. I hope people will understand if you're one of those people that are mad about it. What's your favorite park to attend? You gave favorite spots to work. It's
a tie between Magic Kingdom and Epcot.
Oh yeah,
Epcot's very cool for adults
because you could drink.
Yeah, and all the different countries that are in like the journey around the world. Mm-hmm. You learn this when you go through an orientation, but Disney, like, each country had a team from that perspective country, like of architects, like engineers. Like, they tried to make things as authentic as possible. And for someone who had never been west of the Mississippi River, that was like it for me. I was like, I'm in Mexico, and now I'm in Africa, and now I'm in Switzerland. Like, I was very much into it.
You're an expert.
And all the international students, well, not all of them, but many of them work in those countries that they're from. It's like very cool, and it has the best like food and drink and all that.
That is cool. They got because I visited my friend, and they got like that one spot where you could like taste all the Cokes. Did you have that?
Yeah. Did you try the Beverly?
Is that the gross one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's disgusting.
It's bad, right?
It's like I can't believe that's like a prank, right?
No, it's real.
People like it.
I forget which country it is.
It's so bad.
I feel it's like a European.
It's so bad. And what about, so usually when people work with children too, they always say like, oh, like, it wasn't the kids, it's the parents. Who was worse, the kids or the parents?
No, parents, absolutely. Yeah. There are so many creepy dads who would come up to me and then like feel like my lower back and be like, oh, must be a girl in there. And I was like,
really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, people definitely got, like, I think face characters, they got it worse, but the parents are old. A lot of parents suck. But the kids, the weirdest thing would be if I would meet somebody as Chip earlier in the day and then go out into the park as myself and I'd see them later. I was like you can't say hi because they don't know who you are. But I was like, man, we had a really cool moment like 2 hours ago, buddy. But the kids, I mean, I love the kids. I still have, I'm super sentimental. So I still have drawings and stuff that like the kids gave me from like my first couple of shifts.
Oh, that's cool.
Still remember like the last family I greeted because once again, I'm just extremely sentimental.
Really?
It didn't go well.
Why? What?
Because the husband, he sprayed cologne and it got in my mask. And I was trying not to cough because if you sneeze, that's really easy to play off in the costume because you can just be like, this makes no sense for people listening, but it's easier to animate a sneeze and animate like, bless me, but a cough is so ugly. You can make a sneeze sound cute. You can't make a cough sound cute in a chipmunk costume. It's difficult.
No, that's a good
So the whole time I was just trying not to cough with like this huge family from Brazil and it didn't work out well.
But you still remember them.
I do still. I mean, but yeah, I remember a lot from them, just because I like made sure that I didn't want to forget it. You know.
I feel like that would be such like a great reunion, if you.
Oh, that family.
Yeah.
I know, me too. Or there's like a couple. There's one family. They come every year, and now they're kind of like. I mean, they're definitely Disney adults, but they're like famous amongst the employees. And I ended up seeing them like 2 years after.
Did you say something to them?
No, but my friend who hung out with Princess Tiana, she like keeps in touch with a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool then. Damn, I can't believe. Is it like? Are there a lot of creepy people? Like people like touching you and shit?
I don't want to say a lot, but someone's experience could be totally different. Like I guarantee the Elsas, because think about it, they were the most popular characters at the time. Like they probably had to hear some stuff. But you know, I mean, this kind of goes back to what you were saying about Mickey. I think Chip and Dale are so cool and they're not utilized enough. Like there's not like a ton of commotion for Chip and Dale, if you'd say. So I didn't get it a ton, but it was always like the dads who would make comments like, "Ooh, is that a boy or girl in there?"
So weird, especially with your kid.
Especially when you know there's a human in there. I feel like it's even weirder when you know there's a person in the costume and you're still commenting.
Yeah.
But it was never anything. I mean, again, if you ever felt uncomfortable, like, and I know that does happen, you hit that distress sign and like they will kick you out of the park. Like you don't get to come back. But it never happened to the point with me where I ever needed to do anything like that.
That's good then.
Yeah.
Did you ever explore the abandoned parts of the park?
No. Are you talking about the water park?
Yeah.
No. You can get to it from one of the hotels and you could see it. I mean, that would have been an instant firing for me. I'm also terrified of alligators. So I wasn't trying to go anywhere where it was like not regulated. I'm trying to think if I ever explored anything I shouldn't. I definitely went into a couple different tunnels, like, just to see what was like popping off. That wasn't necessarily my area. But I do know there's like one main elevator that takes you to like the special room where you can actually stay in the castle. And like if you get caught pressing that button, you're out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There's like some hard fast, like no stealing costumes, which seems pretty obvious.
That was a question I had too.
Yeah.
Are the costumes like, do they get new ones frequently? Or I can't imagine Disney having dingy costumes.
It's a huge warehouse, and obviously, like, there's special washing machines and everything. Each costume piece has a barcode on it. So, for example, like Chip and Dale, the head is one piece. The bodysuit, which is a onesie, that's the second piece. And then you have, like, your two booties. Each of those, and your gloves. Each of those things have barcodes on them. So when you go in for your shift, you put each costume piece in a bag in your size. And then when you have to go through a certain walkway and the computer system scans all the barcodes. So then when you return it, it scans it again. And there are like issues where it's like, oh, do you have this? It's like, no. But like there have been people who would like smuggle piece by piece of costume out, and then you eventually get caught and then you're screwed. Done.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's like, if you're the high school mascot thing.
Oh, it's gross.
Yes, that thing's sitting in a
That's
gymnasium.
not happening at Disney. And if there's like, if something's like faulty, like if an eye pops off or something, it's like done, like in the trash.
They're not trying to.
Yeah, and I would say, I probably can't. But like during a shift, there would be probably like 15 chip heads on the floor. Like you could grab 15 and then they have more in the back. You know what I mean? So there's definitely a surplus of the costumes, but it's very like jarring to see for that first time.
The costume room?
Yeah, because it's just like, oh, like this is, what's that phrase?
What's that one? Peripheral?
No, isn't it like how they make the sauce? Oh, you said it.
How the sausage is
made.
made.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it's like when you go in the costume warehouse.
Because it's just like, oh my God, there's 17 Donalds. Like there's Daisy. There's like everything.
Oh yeah, and like my friends would kind of mess around in the break room. Like I knew a Mickey, and he was kind of weird, and he would take like the mini head and put it on Mickey's body, or like the Donald.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now what about like inappropriate things? Like people go to the bathroom and take like a middle finger picture. Like
that definitely happened. I was just not a rule breaker because I did not want to get fired from Disney. But yeah, people did stuff like that all the time. You're not supposed to like take photos while you're in the costume. Like that's a huge no. But like sometimes if I had a shift with a friend, I would have the captain take a photo of us in full costume backstage.
Okay.
But I would never ever take a photo.
Do you have a picture of you and Chip?
Yeah, I have a bunch. I'll send them to you.
All right, good. Could we add it? Do you care or no?
Oh, no, yeah, you can have it.
I didn't know if that's against the rules or...
No, not at all, because I'm in full costume, and it's just like, you don't have to say, here's Jordan's friend. Like, that's so weird. You can be like, here's Jordan in a Chip costume, I think.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's...
I'll live.
Yeah, man, it's so wild. Like, I mean, I get it. That it's like such a multi-billion-dollar thing that they got to, like, protect, but it's... The things you hear, how about the eye in the sky? Like, is it that heavily guarded too? Like, have you like, do you know much about that? Because I've heard they have cameras like at every surface.
Why, and I mean now it's even more complex. Are you familiar with the Magic Band system?
I'm not.
It's a special bracelet, and now if you do a Disney vacation, that bracelet you scan it. It's your ticket to the park. It's your key to get into your room. You can put your credit card on it, so you just like don't have to take out your wallet. Like it's everything. And I know something that they integrated is they have cameras in like different points of the park now, like at the top of the castle or on like a ride. So at the end of the day, when you look at your photos, like all these photos of you are on your Disney app because all these cameras were scanning. Oh, wow. Yeah, they're super high tech. They used to do a thing. They've retired it for right now, but it was the Mickey Mouse meet and greet at Magic Kingdom called Magic Words with Mickey. And that was a talking Mickey, but it was like kind of a robotic head. You still wore it. But what was really cool is a couple miles outside of Magic Kingdom, you had a control room where they were like doing the talking for Mickey, kind of like a game where you would press like a Sims type thing, if that makes sense. And so you could have, he spoke English, Portuguese, Spanish, and Japanese. And it was really cool. Like if a Japanese couple came in and like said something that would be like a sign, a teller, Mickey would start speaking to them in Japanese, and it was all happening in real time in a control room miles out. Like the tech that's going on over there is actually kind of insane.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, and I just like, because even there's like not many fight videos and stuff like that, but I've heard like those people like
if you fight caught. You're done, and they find it so fast.
Yeah, like because they like the surveillance and shit too. That's what I meant.
It's like you can't. I mean, it's like before the fight even starts. Like I think like a captain's there and they're like you're out. Like it's very rarely do fights even break out.
Crazy how on the ball they are.
Yeah, they are. They're on it.
It really is. And let me see what else I have here.
Okay. I hope you guys are finding this interesting.
I find it interesting.
Good.
Why?
That's all that matters.
You don't think it is?
I mean, I think it is, but there's a lot. Listen, Quiggs, I doubt Quiggs is listening, but Quiggs hates Disney. He hates Disney adults. He hates everything about Disney. And so I guess if you're like Quiggs, you won't find this interesting, but...
But listen, even if you're not a Disney adult per se, like you got to acknowledge like how big Disney is and how fascinating of a company it is. Like, listen to all the things. It's like, it's a lot of like WWE in a way, like how they're not.
It's very similar to WWE.
Like they're not allowed to call it a belt or or a title or a strap anymore. It has to be the championship belt. Like,
it's all about branding and marketing and like efficiency. It's cool.
Exactly. No, it is. Oh, this was one. So, are you actually smiling under the costume?
Yeah, I am.
You are.
I did most. The only time I did it, if I was like maybe like extremely hot and was just like breathing heavily inside, but I smiled most of the time, if not every time. Yeah. Always. I feel like I posed better when I smiled.
It's like natural too. Right? Yeah. Like you're not like.
And I was genuinely happy when I was doing the job. Like that was the big thing. It never felt like a job because I was enjoying myself. Like I loved like making kids happy, as lame as you guys probably think that sounds. Like it was really fun and it made you feel really good. So I was usually smiling.
I mean, you were in like the arts. You like to be
show choir kid. I cannot emphasize that enough.
Exactly. So it makes sense, Jordan. I don't think you have to feel bad about it.
Thanks.
At all. And then why didn't you pursue it long term?
Because I knew that if I would have stayed there, I would have like gotten sucked into the hole. And I forget. I wish I could remember how much I got paid. But you're not making a ton of money as like a Mickey or whatever, unless you're like a premium contract for like the shows. It's not. I just knew I wanted more for myself. I wanted to finish school. I did have some friends who stayed, and now like some of them are still there. Some of them have moved to Universal. Given that like the pandemic changed everything, like they all got laid off.
Yeah.
And so they're like slowly getting back into it, but it's just not the most like sustainable. If you want like, what I want for myself, I couldn't have if I stayed at Disney.
I also, and maybe I'm getting too deep here, I also feel like there could be a dark side to this too. Like it's such a happiness during the day, and then you take off the mask, and then it's like you go eat like Wawa, and you're like alone.
I mean, I do think you could. I think it's really easy to feel lonely, and because you're overstimulated for like 6 to 9 hours a day, meeting all these people, and then you take the costume off. And like for me, I go back to like my apartment in Orlando, and I love like my roommate is still one of my roommates is still one of my best friends, and I have I'm really close with a couple of people that work there. But yeah, I mean it's like it's two opposite ends. You're like being glorified, and kids are like so excited to meet you, and but that's the thing, like it's not you, and you also know that too, which is kind of like it kind of messes with you a little bit. Yeah.
No, I could see that. And what? Sorry, did I ask what would have been your number one though? Like if you got to choose.
Number one part
like what,
to work in?
No, what would have been your like character?
Oh,
like
my character.
If it was up to you.
Guys, I love Chip and Dale because you could do anything with them. Like I didn't have to follow a code of conduct.
It took you long enough. I mean, you got Chipmunk and you were disappointed. So.
But even really like out of my height range, I think I would have loved to be Donald because Donald, you can be kind of rude.
Oh yeah.
And I would have loved to like do that to some like parents, you know what I mean? Like been kind of sassy. He's like a very rude, sassy character for sure.
Damn. Well, all right then. I think did we hit everything, JP? Is there anything we didn't get to?
I don't think so. I just hope people found it interesting. I really loved it. I've noticed there's a TikTok trend. I'm glad we're doing this because more of these like Disney interns are on TikTok, and they're making it seem so weird and so lame. And it's actually a really cool opportunity if you're not. Yeah, like. The Disney adults are getting on TikTok talking about the college program. So I'm glad I can be here and represent maybe a more normal, chill side.
See, how about that? She may have canceled the show for good, but at least she's like supportive of the program. That's like a decent alumni.
Yeah,
I feel.
I try my best. I wish Dave would have made more of his Disney experience.
Yeah, that's right.
That is one thing. Like it does kill me when I see people going to the parks and they're not doing like all the things I want them to do.
Yeah.
I have no idea how Mincy like found a contact to get him tickets because I tried with a couple of my people who work in like VIP blah 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 blah. And so I was texting Dave and I was like, well, if you can't go to Hollywood Studios, like you should go to Epcot, da da da. And he was like, no. And I'm like, no, like I wanted him so bad to do all these things. So yeah. I still like to plan Disney vacations in my free time. So if you have any questions,
it's a nice side hustle.
Hit the DMs, yeah. Hit the DMs. But it's free. The passion, you know.
Yeah, that is good passion. Oh, sorry. This is I for some reason have a memory. I went once as a kid. I have a memory That like is Pluto the most popular, or am I making that up?
I mean, he could be to you, but like
really, I feel like
kids love Pluto because he's a dog, even though Goofy's also a dog, which we don't talk about that enough.
Well, I got duped by a bad website, I guess. I said I thought I truly would have taken him, but I thought he was a cow.
No, Clarabelle is the cow.
Clarabelle.
And she's like vintage. She only shows up every once in a
really?
while. Yeah, no, Goofy's a dog, but we don't address why Goofy a dog.
Oh yes, has a
like,
dog.
Yeah, it's like
it's not normal.
Because I mean, technically Pluto belongs to Mickey, but then like Goofy acts like he has ownership. There's some weird dog hierarchy going on at Disney. We need to figure it out.
I don't know what Walt was thinking. I don't know. I could have swore like Pluto signed a shit ton of autographs or something.
He does. Like he's super popular, and he can make like fun sounds.
Yeah.
Like he can pretend like sounds weird, but like Pluto makes a lot of licking sounds. Like he's a dog licking little kids. They love it. Yeah.
Okay.
He's a hot commodity.
See, this is all like...
You're not crazy. He's a very prominent fixture in the park landscape.
I'm glad I'm not crazy then. No. But yeah, do you really give out your Twitter and everything?
Yeah, okay. My name is Jordan, but my parents chose a very unique way to spell it. It's JOURDYN. So Twitter, Instagram, it's at Jordan Berry. Berry is the normal way. BERRY.
And be nice. Don't be talking about the show.
Yeah, guys, listen, I'm behind the scenes for a reason. Like, I'm so sensitive. Please be nice to me.
Like I said, she's known as one of the nicest people here, so you better be nice.
I don't know if I'd go as far as Dave with the compliments.
I agree with that. I mean, you just gave your dad a kidney.
Also, donate your organs. I'm very passionate about kidney donation. There are so many people on the kidney wait list. You can save a life by donating a kidney. If you have any kidney donation questions, please message me. I will talk to you for hours on end about kidney donation because I'm very, very, very passionate about it.
Is there, I have a couple questions if that's fine.
Listen, I want to get someone on here to donate an organ, so hit me.
So... what is like the apprehensiveness? What did they? So like you said, you donated your kidney a year ago?
Almost. I donated in May of 21. So we're quickly approaching.
What are they like? What's like the, like, is there any? Like, how does it work from your end? Like,
I think people are apprehensive that they can't maintain a certain quality of life with one kidney, but you can. And not only am I telling you that, but when you are in the approval process, you do so many tests just to prove that you can be healthy without one. And if you're not, then, you can't donate. But I think people are always like, oh, can I drink? Can I do this? Can I do that? Like, yeah, you can do everything you did before. Maybe you don't have, like a steak every day. Mm-hmm. Like you can't do as much red meat, but I mean, you shouldn't have that. Very often either.
So nothing's really changed for you?
No, I mean, I'm definitely I tend to be more thirsty.
Oh,
and
really?
I was really bad at drinking water. I mean, I'm addicted to Coca-Cola. And so I've definitely gotten better at drinking water, but that's because I find my body wanting it more, if that makes sense. But I just did my checkups in early January and I'm all good, guys.
Wow, awesome.
Yeah, so seriously, any kidney questions, please, please, please message me.
And how's your dad doing?
He's doing so well. Yeah. His checkups are now moved to bi-monthly. When you first receive a kidney, it's every day, then every week, yada, yada, yada. So he is doing fabulous.
That's awesome. And then they did the whole Pacers game thing and everything.
I know. And then Dave got me tickets, and then I took my dad, and then it was a whole thing.
That's awesome. And how long was the recovery for you?
Whew, let me think. I mean, technically, I only took 3 days off work.
Wow.
I was working from home, but
booking team,
doesn't stop. Listen, these podcasts don't stop. Neither do the guests. No, you're in the hospital just overnight, and then I would say I was in pain for maybe 2 to 3 days, but it was because it was mostly from the incision point where they take the kidney out. It wasn't anything weird internally was going on. It was my first surgery, so I wasn't sure what to expect. So really the incision was the only thing that hurt, because you don't realize how much you use your abdominal muscles in everyday life. And so you could feel that, Yeah,
I had a surgery on my waist before, and it's
Yeah, you want to...
You're laughing. Everything is just agonizing.
Oh, laughing made me cry. But again, it was only a couple days. I also got off the painkillers quickly because they made me, not feel great.
Uh-huh.
So it probably could have been better had I kept on those. But it was only, 2 to 3 days of, I'm feeling uncomfortable. And then it's pretty easy. I would do it again if I didn't need this kidney.
The second kidney, yeah.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to move on to the liver in
okay.
5 years.
Just keep going down. I like that. Damn, so really the only difference you notice is that you're a little more thirsty.
Yeah, I will say, like, you do tire easily, and you can't really, like, do rigorous exercise for 6 months after, which was not a problem to me. I was like, say less. I would love an excuse to not move. But you do tire more easily. But, I mean, we're almost a year out, and, like, I'm completely back to normal. I'm supposed to run a marathon. Like, I'm fine.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
Supposed to.
Well, yeah. Well, you'll get there.
Thanks.
You'll do it. That's awesome, Jordan. You're great. But thank you, Jordan. This is awesome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
I'm happy you did it. But all right, that's it for today, everybody. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next time.